Hey, everyone! Welcome to my live video call. Woohoo! So, super duper excited, especially about tonight's call because I would be telling you a story, a personal story about me and my daughter. Woo, yeah. So, uh, a really quick side note. I've been having some ear cloggage. I guess that when sinuses gets clogged up, it gets behind the ear, and so it gets very difficult to hear. And but I am on full recovery, no COVID or anything. Just had a slight sinus cold, and then from there, got the stuff behind the ear, but it'll clear out uh, after a little while. So I want to tell you a little bit of a story when my daughter, when she was home, uh, and uh, she had the cough and the runny nose, and it was last week, and I was really working hard on my business. So making the contacts that I need to make, doing all the follow ups and everything. And it got to a point where my daughter, she wanted to start playing. She wanted me to really pay attention to her and really be the kind of dad that she's hoping to be. Because she's really wanting that attention. But you know, if I'm sure that you as parents would relate, like when you're like right in the middle of something and you're zoned in, uh, you're you sort of you try to ignore a little bit uh, the needs of your child at that very moment because they're watching something and or they're playing, imagination with their toys and whatnot. And so I asked, I was like, it's like Sarah, uh, would it be okay if I finish this conversation, uh, really quick, and then we'll play. And at the moment, she was really, really, really happy about that. And she was like, "Okay, Daddy, no problem." And so she goes back and watches her favorite show, and also playing with her dolls and whatnot. And about maybe 5 minutes later, she comes back up to me and she's saying, Daddy, come on, let's play. Come with me and play." And deep down, I'm like, Sarah, I really need to finish this conversation. Could you just allow me to uh finish this really really quick? And but this time she was very very persistent, and and so persistent that she's pulling at me. She's wanting me to go into the room with her and sit down with her and play. And so at that point, I really decided that it was best to not finish the conversation that I was having, and and really pay attention to her and go into the room where she wanted me to go, sit down with her, have like a teacup party, and play with the dogs. She was playing Baby Sky because that's one of her favorite characters. It's Baby Sky off of Paw Patrol. So at that particular time, I was Daddy Chase, Chase off of Paw Patrol, the police officer, and so she has this mission in her mind that she's doing. She's she's rescuing rebels. She's rescuing uh some other characters that dolls that we have in the room. And it was really amazing to see her really, have that kind of imagination, and really to be able to be the creative and be have the kind of experience that when I was a child, we would used to do all the time. We played with GI Joe, we played with Nerf balls and everything else, and we had a lot of fun. Of course, the girls, they did their thing, and so it really got me thinking about uh, being a parent, being someone uh, who has to balance their schedule to the point where they can spend the necessary time with their children and spouse, while at the same time trying to do the work that they need to do, like if they have a business, do the business and whatnot. And of course, when you're doing business in your home, and of course, and your child is out of daycare for a day or two because of her coughing and runny nose, then it makes it very difficult to stay concentrated on the work that you have. And but I would never trade that for anything, because I really appreciate my daughter wanting to be a part of my life, wanting to be a part of something that she wants to spend time with her daddy. And I would never when I learned that day was that as I was doing my work on the computer, and she's dragging at me, and she's wanting me to go with her, and she's starting to get a little more fussy because I wasn't really paying attention as much as she wanted, was that if we don't, as like as parents, if we are so focused on our work or our business, and then we ignore because we're trying to finish something really fast, and we don't do it intentionally. We don't ignore our children or our spouse intentionally. But it got me thinking that you know if we don't pay attention to our children or even spouse in full, then they will start to seek that attention somewhere else. They will start to detach, and they will start wanting to do other things and just be by themselves. So you start having that loneliness creep in. You may have a little bit of the depression creep in, because maybe they are not really um, they're wanting to be with their daddy or with their mommy so much, but their mommy or daddy is so focused on the work that they are feeling like they are not that important. And so we really have to learn how to make our children more important in life, and that's really really important. So I really want to talk about that. Where it's very important to have a balanced life. Whether or not you have a business or you have work. And in my case, I was uh, before I went to the Philippines, I was working as a registered nurse, and then I'm doing business ever since I got back from the Philippines. And so the concept is the exact same, whether you have a job or whether you have a business, and you have to be able to balance your time, and to the point where you are able to uh, have the necessary time for. So, for example, you have your morning routine, and you do your morning routine where like whether you wake up in the morning, you pray, you might exercise, you might meditate, and then you go to work, and then after work, you come home. Your family comes home too. But if you have a type of job like a teaching job or another type of job that requires a lot of after hours type work, where you feel like you are constantly focused on your work, then your children and your spouse begins to get ignored because you're so focused on the next day tasks of your work, where in reality what you should really be doing is detaching yourself from that work at that particular moment in order to give your family the time that they deserve to be with you. Because eventually, if you're not giving that time that they really deserve, then they will find it somewhere else. They will go somewhere else and find it. And that is something that as families, that we don't really want to happen. Like dads, we get so focused on our work because we are producers. We want to be productive. We want to provide for our family. We want to do all of these great things in our life. But if it comes at the expense of our family and our well-being, then it's not. Is it really worth doing? And the answer to that is no, not really, unless you are able to balance and learn how to balance your life appropriately. So you need to schedule out your time where you have a scheduled time for your meditations and prayer, a time that you spend time with your family, and a time that you work. And the work and your family and your meditate, those things should not really be uh they should not really be commingling with each other, because what happens is one overtakes the other, and then you can't then you're never ever productive fully in your life. So I would really encourage you to define a balance with your with whatever you are doing, and that is very, very important. A balanced life, a balanced schedule that will bring in more productivity, because you will be amazed if all the people that I've really studied, a lot of them have balanced lives. They don't allow their work to get in the way of spending time with their family. They don't allow their work to get in uh, within to their time of prayer and meditation. They would include their family in prayer. They would include their family in blessings and stuff like that. But as far as work, they will separate that and not be uh, joined at the hip to their work. And we have to learn how to do that. If you have a boss, by the way, if you have a boss that is so determined that you do work all of your work at home after you've already done work, then is it really a job that you or one that you should stay in? And that's something that you really need to ask yourself. If your child is like 3, 4, 5, 6 years old, babies, whatever, you know, even teenagers, they need your time. They need your uh that they need to know that you'll be there for them, so that when they have questions, when they need the guidance that you are as a parent or to give them, then they can seek that instead of going somewhere else to find that. And when I look at depression, I look at loneliness, when I look at things that so many kids are going through, I wonder. I'm not blaming parents or anything, but I kind of wonder if there's really an emotional detachment that's taking place between them and their parents. And I've said this so many times that a father can. There's two ways that a father can be absent from a family. They can be absent physically, because something happened to the family, they're gone, or they're always at work, or they could be absent emotionally, where they come home, their kids want to play with them, their spouse wants to be with them, but they're like, I'm so tired. I just leave me alone, for a moment. Just leave me alone. I don't want anything. I don't want to do anything. Or they get home, they have their 5 minute rest, and then they immediately go to work on their car, or they immediately go to work on something else. And at the whole time, they are completely forgetting about their family. So they can be emotionally detached that way, and that is also being an absent father, just as being physically not there as being absent as well. Your kids, I have a question, but don't want to answer them. You don't want to listen to them. That's being absent. That's being absent emotionally. So, and I think a lot of that has to do with we get so bogged down on the negatives of life that we refuse to see the positives of life. We refuse to see how good we have it with our families. We allow the rigors of our work to become so ingrained in us that is all that we do. It's all that we do. And then our poor family is sitting there, Daddy or Mommy, I want your attention. Come on, listen to me. I got this story to tell you. Oh, I ain't got time for this. Oh, I'm so tired. And so what do you expect when the child decides to detach and goes to their friends and tells them their problems? It happens quite a bit. So I just want to encourage you, especially if you're a parent, to work out a strong, balanced schedule where you incorporate your prayer time and meditation, you incorporate your family, you incorporate your work, but you detach your work from the time that you are spending with your family. And all eyes should be on the family, not detached somewhere else. So there is one thing that I want to okay, so here, like, if you're feeling like, because this is what I had to do that one time, is when I realized that I was paying more attention to my work instead of my daughter at that particular time. And it's like in my mind, it says, "Oh, why am I ignoring my daughter?" I realized, okay, I have to acknowledge my daughter. I have to acknowledge my spouse. So that's one. You acknowledge them. It's like you stop what you're doing and you acknowledge them, that they are there and that you're listening. Number two, you pay attention to their needs. You put the phones away. You put the computer away. Your eyes are on them. You're paying attention. And then, if they need your time, if it's something that it's like they want to talk to you, they want to ask you questions, you need to give them that time. You need to give them that time. Don't put it off. Don't be like, hey, after this, because after this never comes, right? After this it's never there, because you're always, they'll come back to you. Hey, cat, are you ready? No, 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 no. Yeah, I'm still working. I'm still working. Are you ready? No, I'm still working. And at that time, they went to bed, and it's too late. It's too late. So after you give them the attention, you would want to, like, what happened with my daughter actually that day is, after I gave her about 30 minutes attention, and we're just playing and doing imaginary um, uh, playing with Baby Sky, the dog, Paw Patrol, and Chase and Rubbles, and I think she had Minnie Mouse and Mickey Mouse was there, and there was a dog there as well. And so after we played a little bit, we played blocks as well. We put blocks together, and then after all of that, I asked my daughter. I said, "So, Sarah, would it be okay if Daddy went back to work?" And so when I asked her that question, she was like, "Yes, Daddy, of course. Yeah, yes, Daddy, I love you." And she gave me a big hug, and she's giving me a kiss, and telling me how much she loves me. And so she really appreciate that she got that time, and your family will appreciate that too if you were to spend time with them. And maybe they don't express it super well, but it's definitely something that you can try. Those are steps I typically take, by the way, whenever I feel like I'm doing too much on the computer or the phone. And and it's like, oh my goodness, I gotta pay attention, and then put all that stuff away and then focus. So I think you can do it too, because it's a very important thing. Yeah, if we don't want our children to grow up without the kind of guidance that they deserve from their mom and dad. And we definitely don't want the school system or their peers to be parenting them. You know, so we want to be the ones that parents our own children and to guide them in such a way that they are well equipped for anything that takes place in the future and in their lives. So anyway, I want to thank you for being on the live call tonight. I hope you got value out of it. If you did, please share it with your family and friends. You can go to my website at chadallen.net, CHADALLAN.net. And you can also get the freebie there, chadallen.net/freebie, FREEBIE. And I thank you so much for being on tonight. I will see you tomorrow because I'm still doing the 7-day blitz part 2, and we'll see what happens tomorrow, what I discuss. So we will talk to you later on. Take care. Bye bye.